Hey guys, so after a lot of requests for this video, here is a Widowmaker tutorial containing all the different aiming techniques, playstyles and positioning for Widowmaker. But before that, I want to take a minute and talk to you guys about Skillshare. Skillshare is an amazing learning community for creators. There's over 25,000 classes from video editing to music production to illustration and more. I actually have two friends that's been using Skillshare for years, and one is a professional DJ, so he's learned a lot from the classes on Skillshare. So if you want to learn pretty much anything, such as taking video editing classes to do videos like me, Skillshare is definitely the best place for that. But you don't have to take my word for it. There's over 7 million creators learning with Skillshare, so you've probably heard about Skillshare before. Skillshare is also super affordable. An annual premium subscription is less than $10 a month, and with premium you've got unlimited access to all the courses. I partnered up with Skillshare, so the first 500 of my subs to use the link in the description will get a 2-month free premium trial, so you guys should hurry up. Thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Alright, so let's go over the 4 aiming techniques I will show in this video. Tracking, flick shots, predictive aiming, drag scope. Tracking. You follow people with your crosshair and shoot. The pros for this is that it's a very simple aiming technique. The cons is that if you track someone for too long, they might move out of your crosshair the moment you shoot. It also doesn't work well with fast moving targets like Genji for example. The best way to utilize tracking is when the enemies doesn't know you're there, so you can easily line up your shot. But try to shoot as soon as possible, since most of the time they will move out of your crosshair unpredictably. Flick shotting. Quickly move your crosshair to the target and shoot. The pros are that it's a very fast aiming technique, which helps if the enemies are moving a lot or have unpredictable movements such as Genji jumping or climbing. You don't need perfect reaction time, and you don't need to be scared that they will move out of your crosshair. Now the cons is that it can be a lot more inconsistent and it's a lot harder at longer distances. The best way to utilize flick shotting is when targets are close to medium range, or if you're battling an enemy that shoots back, since it's the fastest aiming technique. It's great versus enemies with a lot of movement, or if you need to shoot someone really quickly and you get no time to line up a shot. To practice flick shotting, first of all, know if you prefer to flick to targets right or left of you. Then try to always have your crosshair on that side of the enemy. I personally always flick better to the right side. If you have the space for it, try to aim with your entire forearm, since it's a lot more consistent instead of just using your wrist. Go into a boss game to practice flicking your target from the same crosshair distance several times. You can start very slow to build up the muscle memory. You don't need to have super fast flick shots. Personally, my flick shots are most often very smooth, but it's more consistent at hitting the target. But everyone always has a different playstyle. Predictive aiming is my word for it, but you can call it whatever you want. You wait for people to walk into your crosshair, then you shoot. The pros is that it's the best method versus ASD crowd spammers or people running in a straight line. Cons is that you need a pretty decent reaction time and you're left pretty vulnerable while you're waiting for them to run into the crosshair. The best time to utilize this is every time someone is at long distance and crouch ASD spam, or is running in a straight line. Aim at the middle of the strafing path and shoot. Drag scope. Drag scope is when you're constantly zoomed in and you keep moving from target to target and shoot. Most of the time you can't even see the target. Pros is that you can kill a lot of targets without having to scope out, but you're left vulnerable while you're doing this. I try to utilize this when there's a lot of enemies in front of me to shoot and there's no one focusing me, so I got a clear path for shooting target to target. Now, do you use your wrist or your arm to aim? It's said that wrist aiming can cause long-term damage if it's used for a long period of time. I don't care about that. For me, I swapped over from wrist aiming to arm aiming, since it's a lot more control with lower sensitivity and aiming with your arm. The way I do it, I use my arm to aim, but I use my wrist to adjust the aim slightly before I shoot as an aim correction. Now, what is your playstyle? Are you the type of aggressive Widowmaker that always try to flank, move position a lot and fight people in mid-range? You might even stand in the middle of the point and quickscope people. This is personally my playstyle. But if you're a defensive Widowmaker, you'll stand behind your team up in the high ground and try to get picks. You'll do a lot of consistent damage, but you'll barely touch the point any time of the game. Aggressive Widowmakers has it easier dealing with flankers and people diving you, since you swap position a lot and you're a good challenge versus flankers with your quick reactions. Defensive Widowmakers deal a lot of consistent pressure to the enemies, since you're always behind your team and you're hard to reach. Both playstyles are good and you can vary it between it depending on what map and what team comp, such as if they have a dive comp. Positioning is very different depending on your complete playstyle, so take this with a grain of salt. Most Widowmakers want to find a position where you can hit the enemies by surprise in a flank, or standing in a very hard to reach position to keep an eye on the entire battlefield without being contested, so you can deal a lot of damage. This will keep them in check, so they will have to play around corners, which leaves a lot of room for your team. Be sure to utilize your grab hook as much as possible, especially if you're going for a risky flank. Keep an eye on what comp they have and be quick to fall back in case they have someone to contest you. So be sure to always have your grab hook up if you know they have someone to dive you. If I know they have a Winston that loves to dive me, I always jump off the ledge whenever he jumps to me, so then if he follows me I can just grapple back up. Just keep in mind to move positioning a lot. Staying in the same position for too long can make the enemies either try to flank you or not be in your sightline at all. That is like the most important thing versus enemy Widowmakers if you're battling. The first one to see the other will most often win since they'll have the first shot. So move positioning a lot and utilize your grab hook a lot. But there's so much more I can say about positioning and what to do, but I really can't put it all in one video. So if you want to see more specific tutorials, comment down below and like this video. To sum everything up, try to utilize all the different aiming techniques I mentioned. Go into a bots game or training range and spend time on each of the 4 methods. Learn to aim with your entire forearm and correct your aim using your wrist. Know your playstyle and try to teach yourself the opposite playstyle as well. It's very important to know when to play aggressive or defensive as Widowmaker. Flank and move position a lot so the enemy team will have a hard time dealing with you, but know when to disengage so you don't feed. It's very important to not die while flanking since you're the reason there's pressure and picks. But if you die while flanking, you might as well swap to McCree or Ash and stand on the point with your team. These are pretty much the basic stuff you need to know while playing Widowmaker. Widowmaker is a very basic hero, doesn't use a lot of mechanics. To play Widowmaker, you just need to practice your aim, deal good pressure to the enemies and do the same amount of damage as any other hitscan would. And know when and where to stand at the right times, but that comes in time after playing a lot. It's all about game sense pretty much. I've seen so many Widowmakers that just stand on the same spots and keep dying over and over, or you stand really far away from a fight and barely do any pressure. That's the kind of Widowmaker you don't wanna be. And even if your aim is not the best, you will still be able to do a lot as a Widowmaker by just dealing pressure to the enemies, since the enemies will have to stand around corners and be careful to not show their heads. The reason why I made this tutorial more into guidelines is since it's better for you to practice these things in, instead of me telling you what to do and when, since that would not work out for everyone and you won't be able to progress and just copy stuff from tutorials. It's better to always practice stuff and know what to practice. Now I'm gonna go over a gameplay of me playing and I want you guys to take notice of what I do and why I do it, not just only watch the video. Alright, so we start off here on Route 66 playing Widowmaker, and I always start off on the high ground here to see if we can get a nice pick behind Reinhardt's shield. And we're gonna move position and we're gonna try to get a nice jump shot here. And right there you can see Reinhardt was stupid enough to have his shield up. If he would have his shield up or his barrier, I would not be able to get that pick and I would have to move to a different position, because being Widowmaker on the first point here and you don't have your grapple up, you won't be able to get a pick behind a Reinhardt shield. But I was lucky enough to get a pick, and I'm gonna move position around, try to see if the Reinhardt is stupid enough to lower his shield again, go around the corner. I can't go high ground here because they have the Reinhardt shield. I have to try to get a pick from the side instead, so that's why I play a very aggressive Widowmaker on this point. I'm just focusing the healers down. I'm lucky enough to get the pick there, use my grapple hook to get a nice jump shot, and there we go. Now I'm gonna move and try to see if I can get picks of people running away while we're clearing them out, or wait for people to get back to spawn, so I'm gonna keep having high ground here. As you can see, Lucio spotted me up here, so they're gonna know that I'm up here, so I have to move position again. Moving position a lot is very important as Widowmaker. You can see them coming back now, and I'm gonna stay in this position for a while. I get the Ash pick, I get the Lucio pick, and now they have to back off. There's no way they're gonna contest this. It's very important to always hold the angles and always try to be in a safe spot when you're playing Widowmaker, unless you're playing really aggressive. But especially if they're coming out of spawn, it's very important to have a good position ready. Now as you can see, there's no way I'm gonna be able to fight in this close quarters versus a brig in a supercharged area, so I have to jump up here and try to flank on the right side instead. That would be the best solution, so that's exactly what I do. And got a nice pick here on the Lucio and on the Torb, and they would have no idea that I'm coming from that way. Right here. Normally you wouldn't jump down and try to challenge the Ana while the enemy team is behind me, but since I got 2 picks, it wouldn't matter if I died, because I still have 2 very key picks. I don't know if Torb is really a key pick, but I got 2 picks, so even if we would die, we would still be up 1 person. If I would kill the Ana here, it would be 100% worth it even if I die. And I easily get the Ana there, very lucky. But since I got 3 picks here, my team would have no problem just going right in and just killing off the rest of the enemies. Normally, like I said, you wouldn't go down and do that unless I got the 2 picks. My team just finished them all off like I said, and right now we're holding pretty further away, but we're holding them when they're coming out from spawn. So that's what we're waiting for right now. We're gonna try to take a high ground and we're gonna try to finish them off while they're going out from spawn. Still just waiting for them to push out from the spawn. We're gonna take a closer high ground here just to get better angle. It's good to always move position a lot. Go for the top is 1 health there. And now you can see I'm fighting the McCree there. I have to crouch and be very careful, because if he hits 2 headshots, I'm dead. He also got boosted from the Lucy ultimate here, so I'm waiting a bit. I'm falling back and waiting for the ultimate to fade away. Asking the Ana to heal me, even though she doesn't want to heal me. There we go. Now we can go back to peeking. Try to get some nice damage, do some good shots. They don't really have anyone to challenge me except the McCree, and he jumped down from high ground, so I can just play really aggressive right now. Now on the third point, we don't have a Reinhardt, we only have a Winston as main tank, so it's going to be really hard for me to stand with my team and like try to snipe them since they have a Reinhardt shield. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to flank and go behind and do some damage from behind. Luckily enough, my team was able to clean him up by using all their ultimates, and I'm behind and flanking, I'm destroying the top turret, etc, etc. Alright, so I'm going back to my team here, yeah. And we're gonna see if we can get some picks here while going off spawn. We should be able to take a high ground here and try to kill him from the sides. I think that would be a better idea. Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing some damage. Right now I'm standing in a position where I'm relatively safe because I'm not behind my team, I'm fighting with my team, but I'm standing in a position on the opposite side of where the enemy team is. So I'm still safe and I can still do a lot of damage. See, I'm trying to snipe the Genji, just doing some damage. We have so many DPS. I think we have 3 DPS in our team. So our DPS is just going around really close and just doing a lot of damage and annoying them. That means they're taking their eyes off me. So I have a really good position to shoot all the enemies while they are focused on the other teammates. The 2 easy picks there. Try to hold people off spawn here. Loses 1 health, calling out the team. Still standing in the same position here because we can take people out of spawn here. So pretty much what I'm trying to say here is move around a lot. Try to see what position would be the best position for Widowmaker. Try to be around corners a lot. Try to not always be with your team. If you know they have a really strong front comp like a Brig, or they have a Reinhardt and we have dive comp, and set in positions where you are safe while you can deal a lot of damage, especially if your team have a lot of dive comp.
Running, gunning, acting wild, coming with a pack of style, lights, camera, action, wow. Dragging straight, ripping to your tape, Hanzo, we get it hyping low. Got the arrow in sight, it's TheRealKenzo. Payload, we play it tight, no we running, get it right, come on.